First off, everyone needs to listen to your podcast. I think you guys are probably my most favorite industry podcast out there because you guys really teach actors how to actually be entrepreneurs, how to actually market themselves. So I also do feel like every actor should think of themselves as a business person.
It does. It's sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. I don't think there's anything less. I don't think there's anything more consistent, more inconsistent than Riverside. It really is so inconsistent. They probably fuck with our episodes because they're probably listening to us. It's like George Soros. He probably owns Riverside.
Soros.
He's probably owns Riverside and he's listening to us.
George Soros owns Riverside and is fucking with us. It's so fucking silly. What pickle? Okay.
The cat jumps on your face and kills you.
No, it's getting better. I mean, he's just a weird cat.
I just want to be okay. You say that, and I do agree that
this yogurt's got something in it. It's
Mike's eating a Chobani that's 2 months expired.
There's something going on. It's not in the taste, just in the texture.
Listen, you're going to be doing a 2.5-hour squat later, and you're going to end up puking on the floor. Okay.
Good bulimia. Just want to eat shit that makes me throw up. It's like little crystals are in here.
Well, is it like a Chobani with like?
It's a vanilla Chobani.
Oh well, there probably shouldn't be crystals in it then.
Yeah, there's definitely like a texture thing, but I'll just shove it down because that's what happens.
Save money.
Exactly. So what are we talking about today?
Oh, well, it's funny because by the time this comes out, we will have been well into our many other episodes that we will have released since we took a hiatus. So this won't mean anything to folks, really. But this is really only our second episode back. And yet, I mean, in terms of recording, this has been on the docket for a long time. And it's because obviously it riddles us all, I would argue. And that's jealousy. Jealousy. The good, the bad, and the really ugly. That's the title of the episode.
As done by AI. So
that's not true.
Oh no. Okay, sorry.
This title?
Yeah.
No. In fact, I actually do always. I always do put it through. I say, "Do you have other better ideas?" And I didn't. It was like actually only because I literally was just having this conversation with her. When other people's wins hurt was a suggestion I gave you. The jealous artist. Ooh, how about this one? The green-eyed monster and what it's trying to tell you. So, no, Mike, listen, I'm telling you, she's not always that great. So this was actually quite literally mine. Jealousy, the good, the bad, and the really ugly.
It's very good. So why did you want to talk about this?
Well, I've not been a very jealous person. A lot of my life. That's not, but that doesn't, first of all, that doesn't mean I haven't been jealous. And more to the point, I find myself, as I've gotten older, becoming more jealous.
More jealous as you get older.
More jealous. So, because
you're regressing.
Well, because I told you I'm sure I've talked about it already in one episode, but there was what was a very close friend, still a friend, but what was a very close friend, created something, and I went to see it, and I found myself like, and it was a pretty big milestone for this person, and I never said anything. I still haven't said anything.
Interesting.
And I realized, and I know that it was stemming from a real place of jealousy, and so it's to the why. Besides it being, I think, a worthwhile topic to explore, part of what these episodes do for me in thinking through,
It's help you figure
ways
out why
in-
you're a bad friend.
well, it makes me think about, like, well, what is that? Why, why do I feel like that? And because it's a newish feeling to me. I mean, I have you been a jealous person a lot of your life? I know the answer to that, but I'm teeing it up so that the listeners can answer.
I mean, we'll get into this. We'll get into this, but it's funny because yes, although I actually feel less jealous now, a lot less jealous than I used to. I don't get that much jealous anymore. However, I think the reason why is sort of something we're going to talk about later. But yeah, like, I mean, there was one period, like maybe 5 years ago, or like maybe, 5 years ago, where I would get like super fucking jealous. I mean, I've always been jealous, I guess, in some ways, but like, it was just taking on a different level because it was, and for me, the jealousy, around the creative career stuff used to be things like seeing people that I thought weren't working that hard, or, like, oh, I'm working so much harder than them, or I'm trying way harder than them and they're successful, or they're getting these successes and I'm not. And that's not fair. And that's a really dark place. That's like a super dark place to get to, because it's like, that's just not how the world works. It's not like, it's not like we live in a meritocracy in the sense of like how hard you work at something determines its success. But also it's dark because, like, I'll think about it like, people who would do tapes. And it's like, I know people now who I help tape who don't memorize, who don't do any work. And they, or like, I mean, you do work. I know people who literally, it's like, we're doing the audition and they're reading it from their computer and they haven't worked on it at all.
Well, like that thing, but just to say, like that thing we both just submitted something for randomly. Let me be clear. As I was, what I sent in was the first time I read it and did it. I was like, oh, that's
no, and I say this because that used to be something that would be something that would drive me fucking insane.
Okay, but did you spend a lot of time on that?
Oh no, not that. No. No, this is not a concern anymore with me. But what I'm saying is, it used to be something where I'm like, the person books or whatever, and I'm like, I get so jealous and angry because it's like they didn't even work on it. It's like, and why that's so dangerous is not only because it's just it's like that's not how the world works, but also because it would make me feel really bad, because it make me feel like really ashamed that I tried so hard, that I would try so hard at a tape, or try so hard to get an audition, or try so hard at elements of, going after what I want, and seeing people who weren't trying, in my mind, in quotation marks, do that. I would get so ashamed because it made me feel like such a try hard and like pathetic, desperate. Like, it was a lot of anger at the world, but then a lot of self-directed sort of like shame and self-consciousness, and wow, I must really suck, or I must be really pathetic if I'm trying so hard and people aren't, and they're doing well. I must look fucking pathetic and desperate and pitiful. It's like a lot of it became self-directed, and it's when people book things, or when people, and of course I still struggle with it, but I just think it's manifesting itself in a different way. But yeah.
I don't know if this is similar or not. Interestingly enough, a lot of my jealousy stems from people meeting their potential, and me not meeting mine. Meaning, I get jealous of I know if I just applied more of this, I could, where so it's not even it's not so much about a talent piece for me too. It's about this person, that thing that they made. I'm like, why did I not step up and make that?
Sure, yeah. I mean, that's a completely different kind of jealousy too, and but it's worth talking about. It's not just like when people are validated, but when people are able to do something that you want to do on their own. It's like when they're the one stepping up and doing something, that is a very real jealousy too, because yeah, you're just like, and yeah, it makes you feel like shit because you're like, what am I doing? You know what I mean? Like, you're like, what am I, for your point about the potential thing, it's like, you know, yeah, yeah.
So, just to be clear, in a lot of today, we're gonna sort of explore the various sides of it, because I would argue there's some good to be found in jealousy, and some bad stuff, and some stuff that really gets not good. So, and also, what can we do with it? Is it an opportunity to grow in some ways?
Yeah.
But first, let's sort of go a little further and talk about why, even if it's somewhat obvious, why jealousy shows up, especially in creative careers.
Mhm.
And I do, we've talked about this before, but I do think that, to your point about someone booking, when things come through, when opportunities come through, it can feel like there's like one could never come again, even when they do.
Yeah.
There's such a
Yeah.
scarcity mindset in
Yeah.
our industry. There's limited money, limited opportunities.
Limited
Feels like
attention.
there's exactly. It feels like there's such limited attention. It's constantly moving on to something else, and so that absolutely creates a sense of jealousy. How could it not?
Yeah, no, I think the scarcity stuff is, yeah, because I mean, if you have faith to, that there are opportunities out there for you, or that you have faith in, your path and your timeline, like if it's about, if you have, then I would imagine jealousy would be a lot less, because because what's yours is quote coming to you or whatever the fuck. But yeah, I think the scarcity mindset goes right into that of like, well, my timeline, if you don't have faith in those things, if you don't have faith that there are things coming to you, that there are opportunities out there, that you're capable of doing something, and that everything is limited, then you're actively missing out. And those things, it makes sense that those things will not come again. Yeah.
Well, and one of the most obvious ways that I'm sure everybody can relate to that kicks this up is social media. Because,
Sure.
I mean, it's so obvious, but we have to talk about it because that is, in my experience, that is pretty much the number one. This piece,
Yeah.
is the number one piece that people talk about their mental health when it comes to social media.
Yeah. No, I think they're right. Yeah.
Because it's also curated, and so when we're flooded with 100 posts in 2 minutes of people who are on set or in rehearsal or look at me and getting married, you're just sort of like, it's just like kind of like that's what, no wonder it's called doom scrolling. You're just sort of
Yeah. Well,
going into your existential doom, so to speak.
it's a reflection back on you, right? Because it's like, I think what's dangerous about it is like, even if it's not jealousy you're experiencing, and fear of missing out, I think, is also a big part of it too. It's like, which goes into the scarcity mindset. It's like, if you're sitting there doing something and you're seeing people out there being active, being creative, living their best lives, you automatically turn that on yourself and you go like, I'm not doing that right now, or I'm not going after that right now, or I'm
Exactly.
not. And so it just puts you in a state of panic that like, oh, a train's going and you're missing it. Like that's my experience a lot of times. It feels like, it's like I actually feel pretty content with where I'm at or what I'm doing or etc. And then you'll see something on social media and you're like, oh shit, no, I'm falling off. I'm being left behind. I'm, which is jealousy, but it's also like a fear of, it's a fear of missing out too,
Well, and it's classic. What we already compare ourselves without social media.
Mm-hmm.
Even without social media, we are comparing ourselves. Which I have a double-edged feeling about because I actually think that there's something valuable in comparison as well. But and yet it's this. It is 100% in line with social media and also very different in a lot of ways.
Well, it's like, I feel like right now I'm kind of at a point where, for the first time in my life, I feel like I'm giving myself more of permission or more of a break or not being as hard on myself or not, because I'm just not like being like, oh God, that constant being like, shit. Okay. Shit. Like I gotta go. And it's like, I know that probably comes with getting older maybe, but it's like the comparison, it's like, it's like a standard, right? That you should hold yourself to, right? So it's like, if you're seeing people getting married at my age, it's like, I just had a friend who's an actor and he just got engaged. And, of course there's part of you when you see that, that's, I've talked about this before in a newsletter, but it's like, there was this whole article by the guy, thesis at MIT that the guy who created BuzzFeed wrote, where he's basically like, what's dangerous about information overload or about constant, and he was writing this during the 90s based on television, but it's like quick, like, it's like quick commercials, quick edits, quick things like that, is you're being bombarded with so many images and so many different stories at the same time. And how the identity forms itself is by, when you experience something, like you see, you walk down the street and you see a man pushing a baby carriage, or you see, you walk by a Broadway theater and you see like the marquee, or like, you see on social media someone's making a movie. Every time you experience anything, you have any sort of input, you automatically do something where you run it, you reflect, and you project yourself into that situation, like subconsciously or consciously, because you're trying to just get your bearings constantly. So you're like, oh, that man has a baby, whether or not it happens, like you think about being like, am I going to have a baby? Like, I don't want a baby, or blah, 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 or like Broadway show. I wonder if that's a Broadway. I wonder what that show is. I wonder who's in it. And you're just constantly doing this, like comparison, this process of input and reflection is how we get our bearings, and how we sort of in this petri dish of life where we're just being constantly influenced all the time. The ability for us to take in something and feed it back to ourselves is a way that we like ground ourselves and get a sense of who we are, what we want. So it is a survival strategy, as you said.
It's human nature,
and it's needed. But the question is when does it? I think that we're at a point now with social media, with everything, but especially with social media, where we're doing that so many times a day that we're constantly like pulling the rug out from under us. We think we have a sense of, you see an ad for pants and you're like, do I want those pants? No. Okay, but you still have to sort of like take that millisecond to be like recalibrate yourself whenever you see something and feedback. And so we're just constantly being taken off our feet all the time by this constant bombardment of shit. And yeah.
Well, and you know the word you used, and I think this is another reason as well. We talk a lot about our our creative selves being almost like all of us, as though there's no other parts to us.
Mm-hmm.
And if we, and listen, that's I've long lived in that way, you know. I mean, meaning I have prioritized a lot of my creative work, creative opportunities, my professional life for years. That's what I've done. Therefore, when your whole self, or even 70% of self, is wrapped up in this one form of expression, this one career path, and then, you know, to add on to it, the career pathness of it, meaning, you know, you and I talk a lot about, you want to be an artist, be an artist. No one's stopping. Go crochet in the backyard and make things for your rose bush. I don't care. Beautiful. What makes it more challenging, obviously, is that that's one necessary element of my identity, just being my creative self and wanting those opportunities. And then when you tie it in with, as I always say, paying your phone bill, and your sense of self and form of a human expression, to be gay about it, then paired with late stage capitalism, going a mile a minute, trying to succeed, you're just constantly in this state that I think jealousy is inevitable. Does that track what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think what I hear you saying, just to be clear, is that if there was no reward system, kind of going back to the scarcity mindset kind of a little bit, because what I hear you saying is that, like, everybody can be an artist. You know, in my opinion, there's somebody who runs a community theater in Nebraska is no less valuable than the artistic director of whatever Lincoln Center. You know, it's like what really is, but it's when, I guess what I hear you saying is that, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know if this is what you're getting at, the artist's identity thing, is that now this thing that just is, now society perhaps has assigned a value judgment or a value, or, like, you know, a value estimation or whatever assessment of who is more valuable, when it's just this thing that you want to do. It's not, and like, that's certainly capitalism. It's like, you know, who is providing, quote, more value. And so if it's this thing where it's like,
well, so he just meant to say the reason why that's a good reframing, and then I'm interjecting for a sec, is because you're saying it. Yes, there's an inherent value judgment on it, when in fact, if there wasn't, who cares?
Right, exactly.
You don't care. I'd just be crocheting for my rose bushes and be like, that's my art.
Right,
I don't
exactly.
I'm not looking for any validation.
Right.
From that.
But like, you know, and I think where the identity piece comes in for me is that, like, what's unfortunate is that comes with that, is that a big thing that comes up, kind of going back to like oh, these people didn't work so hard and I'm pathetic because I worked hard at it, is it makes you question your identity, right? If you're not being if you're not being value, it's like, you know, if no value is being, if you're not being assessed as valuable by some sort of infrastructure system, society, whatever, and you're not making if you're not booking, if I'm not here booking left and right, am I really an actor? Am I really an artist? If people aren't doing, if people don't, is it really art if people don't like it? And that's where, you know, and so the jealousy piece comes into play. How jealousy feeds into this is competition, right? Is that it's sort of, jealousy is a you know, if competition, you know, competition, unfortunately, is how society as a whole builds itself.
Yes.
You know, competition.
Every man for themselves.
Yeah, it's like competition is it's like it's just inherent in who we are. It's like that's how I would argue that without competition, we would live in a very different, maybe it would be better, but we certainly wouldn't live in the society as it is today, which is like constant innovation, constant pushing the boundaries, constant, the space race, all this type of shit. Like,
right, exactly.
Like society, like societies in the sense of their survival, societies, the survival of a society as a whole, not the people within it, but like America or like Russia or this town or that, like it benefits from healthy competition, right?
Sure.
And so maybe jealousy is, maybe like if we're gonna say like that's a positive survival trait potentially, then jealousy is sort of like the baked in emotional piece of it. It's like jealousy serves us because it drives competition. It's one of the things that drives competition is they're doing better than us. We don't like that. We want more, or we want them to fail. And it's like, unfortunately, that is just how the world has been built in many ways. So
totally. Now, of course, there are, in my opinion, there are good things that come along with jealousy. To your point, actually, to your point about what you just laid out, by the way, is the partial argument for, capitalism. That sense of being able to win, so to speak, to earn for yourself, to climb the ladder is a right of yours, but also a healthy right for society. There's also a whole other flip side to that, but we don't need to get into. But there is an element of jealousy that I think is helpful, and in fact, the very first one that I want to say is a big part of, again, you asked me why this episode. I do think it could reveal truths. Truths about well, because if you really go, well, what's behind that? What am I jealous of? Am I jealous of, like you're saying, the attention? Am I jealous of the accomplishment? Am I jealous of the feeling? Am I jealous of, and that's why I'm saying, for me, a lot of times it's jealous of someone's ability to step up and meet their potential. And me wanting to be able to do more of that for myself. And therefore, what that ultimately does, the reason why I think it's a good thing too, is it gives me more clarity on my sense of direction.
Yeah. No, I think that's true. I think it's true in two
More photos
respects.
from Jeffrey Epstein's estate released by U.S. House Democrats.
There you go. It's so sad. I can't believe I haven't been following. I've just tuned out from a lot of, I'm going to do a deep dive.
Did you see the dental chair with
I did see some of the pictures. Yeah, or the videos, yeah.
You're like, I loved it there. I loved that chair.
Yeah, I love that, yeah. Guy had great decor. Great taste. But basically, yeah, with the direction piece, it's interesting because I feel like this is twofold, because it's like, and not to jump to, and this is kind of a jump, but not really. It's like, I think one of the things that's can be clarifying about jealousy. It's like, oh, that person's movie got into a festival and mine didn't, and I'm jealous. Oh, well, I have some clarity now that I really did want to get into that festival. It's like, but sometimes, a lot of times, I don't know. I feel like I get jealous at shit that I don't even really care about. But but then you have to get more questioning.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But what's underneath it?
Well, yeah, what's underneath it? Yeah, like well,
why do you care at all?
Yeah, why does exactly? And it's like, so that's totally fair, and I think that line of deep questioning about, okay, well, like almost ignoring the result or what the opportunity was, or what that person's doing. Like, oh, like I saw my friend do this show in New York that they made, and I've been wanting to do that and I haven't done it. It's like, okay, you're not just jealous that they did that. Like, what are you jealous of specifically? Well, because it could get to values. Well, I'm jealous of the fact that they're independent. I'm jealous of the fact that they're putting themselves out there. I'm jealous of the fact that they're able to. So, if you can go to the deeper questioning, I think that's super useful.
Well, yeah, because just to say that, because this is a point we have here. Seeing someone on a show is a great example. Because actually, speaking of this person that made this thing that I've talked about in various ways now many times, I'm actually very happy for them.
Yeah.
It's not that I wish them ill. And when I see if I see a friend doing something that I love, I'm jealous because I crave the experience potentially. I want to feel that. And therefore, one of the things that can do, again, in the good nature part of this, is if I understand that I'm missing that experience, the question then becomes, okay, how do I do that?
It's fun. I'm trying to like, there's a recent experience where I had a friend who won a very prestigious award. Okay. Someone I've worked with who won a very prestigious award.
It was me.
It was you. It was a Broadway World Award. No. Along with,
did you win?
Out of the
what's our percentage?
I'm not looking. I don't care. But it's like out of the 120 people nominated, for
exactly.
like a specific town.
And it's always the community theater that win.
Like in a town. No, we're not even talking about 120 people nominated in a state. It's just a town. So
town of Waterbury, where Mike's really from.
So okay, so my friend got nominated for this award. I'm trying to think this out here because it's like, okay, let me use this really practical experience. And this happened last year, or he won this award, and it was a big deal. It was a big deal, But I did. The first experience I had was I was jealous. Okay,
wait,
so that was
who do I know? I have to know this, obviously.
No, I mean I'll bleep it out. Whatever. He won the.
All right. The more you say, the more you bleep. So I get it. Yeah.
Yes. So and I experienced. By the way, phenomenal actor, phenomenal artist, great guy.
Thank you.
But yeah, I felt jealous at first. Okay, so I take that jealousy, and how is it clarifying? Well, I wonder what there is to glean from that. Because, okay, does that mean I want that? Yeah, of course. Like, of course I want, of course it'd be nice to be validated by a community of that kind, right? That would be very nice to be validated by a community of that kind. So does that offer clarity? Like, how would you go through this and be like, okay, well, what clarity does that offer? Like, do I really want to be a part of this community? And this gets to something later. I'm sorry to jump, but it's like,
it's okay, whatever.
Because I feel like my jealousy now has turned into something else where I'm more like, fuck. The reason why I don't experience it much anymore is because I think it's all bullshit. Like, that's where my jealousy has sort of turned to. It's like I go like, well, I say like, well, it's all bullshit. It's all, I don't care about these opportunities anyway because they're fucking stupid. And that's probably, of course, I would imagine that's a survival mechanism to like make myself feel better, right? But I also, what's also helpful is I kind of genuinely believe that to be true. So, what do I do with that information when he wins this award that at the end of the day, that's an award, for instance, I would love to win purely because of what it would say about me to other people, the validation I would seek. It would not, but it's something I don't think is important. It's so funny. So what do I do with that? How do I get clarity from that?
If I may, we're just talking about ways jealousy could be good, because there is a big difference between jealousy driven by ego and jealousy driven by true desire. And what I mean by that,
yes,
in
that's
relation to your question is, yeah, what you glean from that, there still might be a line of questioning, but then I'm not trying to psychoanalyze you, but then it goes, okay, well, why do I feel I need that? What does that kind of recognition represent for me? Now, and there could be two pathways,
and
right?
it's an ego thing.
It could mean that that could become more opportunity for me to create, or it could be um kind of similar to what you were saying. Well, I work really hard, and why don't I get the same attention? And fuck him. Like, it could spin out in a way that also has nothing. That's completely that's not necessarily based.
Yeah, because like, somebody books a lead role on a procedural. Like, whenever I'm home, like my parents are always watching the procedurals, and I'm like, these are not good. Like, these are like the worst things I've ever seen in my life. Like, these shows.
I know Luella has texted me for every little 1 line, 2 line. She's so
terrible,
sweet,
but they're just bad. And I'm like, yeah. I'm not jealous. I'm jealous. I guess where I get jealous is where that's helpful. Is I go like, oh, well, they're making money. That's useful. Okay, financial stability is nice to have. Like, but like, I don't like want that really, because I don't think it's any good. But like, again, okay, so that should clarify for me, I guess, like, well, the ego, that maybe being driven by ego, right? That okay, so it forces me, and if I realize that jealousy is being driven by ego and not true desire, I guess what the information I need to do is with that is like, just really like, not lust after it's, I don't shut up about this, but it's like, as you get older, it feels like doors close, which is good. Like, doors close because you're like, when you're kind of young, you're like, oh, everything is an option. Anything could happen. I could be all over. And then you start to get clear about who you are, maybe what you want, or what's actually important to you. And you start, and then a door closes, a door closes, a door closes, a door closes. And and it's scary to close a door. Right? It's scary to close a door, like this audition that you and I just had. I had no fucking desire. Yeah, I did not. I had no desire to do it, but it's scary to close a door. It's scary to go, like, but maybe when you see like, oh, like, I don't even really want that, but I'm jealous of it. Ego, like, you have to maybe sit with like, well, maybe I need to let go of. That's clarifying, because it's like, if you don't care, then what the fuck are you? Why the fuck would you even want it?
Sure. Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
I totally agree. So, well, we're kind of tiptoeing into, jealousy as the bad, so to speak. And, I'll kick this off because, again, it kind of, this one relates to this theme I keep talking about, but jealousy can fuel shame, right?
Yeah.
And again, when I see, well, and I'm going to take another example. We might have to bleep, I don't know. There's this person, I've absolutely talked about this person with you, who I do audition for a lot with. They're always up for the same things. And this, I've heard, and this is the truth, because I feel this way actually. Speaking of that audition, whenever I was talking about this with Farrell yesterday. I said Mike Labbadia, Jamie Smithson is a great actor named Aaron Blyton, John Cariani is another one. These guys who I find myself auditioning against sometimes in my past. These are people. You are those people where if they get it, I'm like, great. Sure, I could have wanted it, but I genuinely, like, no, I value that. When I get triggered and subsequently jealous is when there's this one person who this is always happening with, and in different instances, in different opportunities, in different roles, not just performing. And I don't get it. I don't get it.
Who is it again?
And then,
I'll bleep it out. Oh yeah, right.
I mean, you've seen, because you know the extent of what he's done in relation.
Yes.
And things that I'm always up for.
Well, it's like, well, that's really painful. Like, yeah, like I had a series regular audition that you know about for a show, and the guy who got it, I was like, what? I mean, like, but that's the thing, is it made complete sense. In the sense of not because I think he's perfect for the part, but because, again, I have no faith in the business. I think that I have no faith in the industry. I have, like, of course they're going to pick that guy. They're going to pick, like, I should have known that they're going to pick that fucking guy. Not because I think he's interesting or better than me or was better for the part. It's just because, like, yeah. And so it's like, and so, the bad from that, because, like, if you don't go there, right? Well, I guess the bad from that is that you just get pissed. You get angry too. You get really angry at the world because you're like, why? What is going on? What am I? You feel gaslit. Like, I feel gaslit so much. I'm like, what am I missing?
Well, two things, just to clarify this one point. One, where I was partially going was, it makes me feel ashamed. That's kind of where, like, I somehow feel like I should be embarrassed.
So when this guy gets it, you feel embarrassed? Like, when this guy gets another thing?
Because to be candid, I'm like, well, he's not very good. So if he's not very good, and this is so basic actor bullshit, y'all listening. I mean, this is every actor, because, like, there's so many reasons why. So I shouldn't even spin out about this. But yeah, I feel ashamed because I'm like, well, was I that bad? But the other thing, and then respond to this too, but then we tend to hide it. The thing that you're saying, like, that's interesting when too, is like, we make up excuses. Like, I'm not saying you're wrong, by the way, when you're like, well, of course they did, because, and we do this. We maybe even rather than like living in the truth of the uncomfortability. Well, they know so and so. Well, we just sort of like dismiss it to protect ourselves.
Yeah.
So does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah, and the shame too comes from the fact of, like, well, it's just it's like,
it's embarrassing.
Well, it's embarrassing because it's like that series regular. It's so funny because, like, I was fucking fat. I was fucking doing all this crazy shit. But it was the guy. It was like, I was so happy with this tape. Like, what was so, like, crazy about this tape was, I was like, fuck. I was like, this is fucking amazing. I was like thrilled with this tape. I was like, God, like, this is so good. And then I saw they cast. It was basically like, it was like an edgy indie Jacob Elordi. Like, that's, and I'm like, oh, like, that's embarrassing because you're like, it's like, oh, like, we're going to. It's like, what is he even doing here? Like, that's where the embarrassment comes in that respect too. It's like, why was this person ever even, like, trying to do that? It's like, it's like when they had no shot. When they had no shot, either A, because of the connections, whatever. But for me, it's more so of like, oh, it's because my artistry, it's like does not align. You've done this before. It's like when you go into an audition and you're like doing something and it's like and you realize, like, it's way wrong, quote wrong. It's like, it's so not what they were looking for, and you get looked at like you're a fucking idiot. It's like,
this is so random, but I just want to say this. I'll never forget. I don't even mind saying what it is because it's come. There was I think it was called Bruce. There was a new musical about the making of Jaws, and they were going to do it at Fifth Avenue in Seattle. I forget, but it was going to be a pretty big production. It was going to be co-pro. It was going to be good money. And I went in. I even forget it. He was the writer. I forget which part I was auditioning for. And I do the scene.
Oh yes, I remember those.
And they're like, they're looking around. They're like laughing. They're like kind of like, wow. and I stop, and because you can kind of tell like something's a little off, and they basically give me a redirection. Mike, I could not have been more in a I had no clue what was going on. What's my point? My point was, it was just such a hilarious moment where like you think like you're making you think you understand something, and it's actually just kind
exactly. And so like when you get when I get jealous when I'm like seeing that happen, like the jealousy, it's like that's why the shame comes from me too, because it's like I'm out here. You feel like you're just walking around like it's like those nightmares where it's like you're just like I have nightmares sometimes where I'm just like randomly in a public place and I'm naked or I don't have clothes, and it's like I'm looking for my clothes because I'm naked, and I'm like it's like very vulnerable to like put yourself out there, then to like it went in a completely different way.
Totally.
And it's like,
totally,
what was I doing? Like, Jesus Christ. Like, that's where a lot of shame too comes, you know?
Another piece of and kind of a part of the shame spiral is that it can feed narratives.
Yeah.
You know, so the stories we tell ourselves that then, as you're talking about.
This is the big one for me. This is my problem now. Which is, I don't think it's that much of a problem. Like, I don't mind it so much, but it's like, I really just have very little faith in like, you know, most mainstream art and institutional art. I just have, and every time I don't get something because I'm so, you know, because I've had to do this to protect myself, because I'm doing something, you know, different and unique or whatever. It's like, so every time I don't get something, it just furthers that narrative of like, this industry's basic. It's like safe. They don't take risks, everything. So I just let all of this. And so it's like, I don't even get jealous anymore as much as I just bitter. I'm very like, and it's not even like a deep bitterness. Maybe it is, but it's like when I see like, oh, this is the cast of play, new play, and it's like, yeah, of course, yeah, okay, so that tracks. It's the same fucking people over and over again, and it's like, and I don't get jealous. I'm just like, I just get like, I put myself above it. It feeds a narrative I have about
exactly to what you're speaking to again is it's a narrative. Oh, that it. I'm just
sorry.
No, I'm just hold for sound.
Sorry.
No, it's that's a narrative. The same, and there's a million versions of that. Oh, it's the way I look. Oh, my reps aren't good enough.
Yeah,
oh, I
but
don't
it's
have
so
enough
bad
relationships.
To do that, dude. Like, it's so fucking bad. I mean, I'm happy that have this mindset to an extent, because I frankly think it's true in a lot of ways. I just think it's true, you know, but where it's so, I mean, it's just like to be a negativity like that, just to be constantly a negativity, and everything is, yeah, of course, it's a fucked up, you know, this sort of anarchy, sort of apathy, sort of like, you know, resentment. It's like, it's just not, it's really not, even if it is well-founded, it's just, who wants to live like, it's so bad. It's just, it's so soul crushing. It's like, it's, I mean, it doesn't, nothing positive can come from that, because like, I've been feeling this way for a while, and it's like, guess what? It's like, there's not much, it hasn't put an oomph in my step that as much as one would think. It hasn't made me go like, wow, well, whereas maybe if there was more inspiration, maybe if I could find the positives in this, I'm not saying like liking the work, but if I could frame this all as positive experiences, wow, like there's something missing that I think is important. I don't know, whatever the fuck, like maybe that would drive me more, but negativity, like, can only go so far. Like, anger can only go so far as a motivator. Like,
well, you're kind of speaking to the larger point then of what of where I think the stories, the narratives,
Right.
essentially what it creates is if you're working from that negative space, not you, the universal you, me, we, all of us, if we are working from a negative space, it starts to become it's not just that one story.
Yeah.
Then it's a lot of things. Then it's well, I never get seen for that anyway. Well, they never give me the time of day. Well, that person, those people who actually the person, who's the person that we talk about the most on this podcast inadvertently, who I always bitch and moan about, that's where they're at.
Well, it's limiting. A narrative is
there's
super
no
limiting.
wins. There's never a win.
Well, because there has to be, like, even the things you wrote here, like age, body, training, community, reps, talent. It's like there has to be good guys and bad guys in a narrative. It's like there has to be the people, it's like there has to be good guys and bad guys. Whether it's like,
sure,
oh, these fucking schools that, like, people only care about the big schools and like who they graduate, and it's like so fucked up. It's like, or it's like the reps, or it's like, it's like reps are all bad, or reps don't care about this, or these specific, it's like, or body, it's like, yeah, people don't, there's too much, they don't, there's prejudice against me because of X. It's like, you always, in order to form a narrative, you always have to like kind of create a bad guy and a good guy in a situation. And the problem is that's very limiting. It's just a limiting mindset because you're not exploring other nuances, options, whatever.
100%. So, these are the things that I sort of named as the really ugly parts of jealousy. This is all a bit subjective because that was the bad. And these are what I was sort of thinking is the really ugly parts. And I actually do think this one is pretty big.
Oof.
And that is essentially hurting other people. Hurting other people by way of gossiping about them.
Yeah.
Hurting other people by literally sabotaging them.
Yeah.
Hurting other people by simply basking in the opportunities, schadenfreude. When something bad happens to them, even if it's I mean, it's obviously worse if you propel it up to others, but even if you're like, yes,
well, this is funny because it's like, because I had another experience where I'm just realizing, I was experiencing a lot of jealousy. And this has helped me because how do I know I was experiencing a lot of jealousy? This. Actively talking shit about it. Actively talking shit about it, actively diminishing it, actively making it small, actively saying this is bullshit, da-da-da-da. Like, I didn't even realize in this moment that I was super jealous of this very recent thing that happened. And the fact that, like, this is about causing harm.
Right. Exactly.
Gossips, this is all about harm. And if you're trying to cause harm to something, there is a, maybe jealousy is stemming from that. Or that's stemming from jealousy, excuse me, is that like, it's just, it's an interesting question to, whenever you're railing or trying to cause harm or talking shit, to go like, what am I jealous of right now? Where's that stemming
from?
Where's that stemming from? What's the jealousy I'm experiencing right now? And
exactly.
Again, and it's so funny because, like, this thing I was getting really jealous about and I was trying to sort of actively harm, again, not something that, tracing it down, ego, pure ego, because there's it's not like I think what was, it's like the validation this thing was getting, I don't really care about. It's not like I think it's important or whatever the fuck, but again, it's like, well, then it's all ego, so then stop talking shit about it. It's just like, if this is purely a masturbatory exercise here to inflate you and to make you feel good. It's like,
well, because, just to say, too, think about when people do that. This is important. think about when people do that and you realize they're doing that and
Ugh,
you know it.
So unattractive.
And it will exactly. And by the way, this could be someone you're close with. Actually, there are plenty of people that I am that I yes, but that I go, oof, I'm gonna be careful of them.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Not gonna work with them. And so if I'm having that experience with people who do that, well, then when we do that, when we sort of poison the waters, in fact, just to say, let me say something. That person I was just talking about, that I just named to you, I have done that several times. I name this person. I name this person and express my distaste for their work and subsequently their accomplishments. And I don't do it. I only really do it to people I consider close. But actually, that doesn't even matter. Why? Is that the energy I want to put out in the world? Like I can have those feelings and not go the next step, which is what we're really talking about here.
Yeah, which is actively causing harm. Yeah, it's really fucked up because you're trying to, when you think about it, it's like when you do that, when you talk shit to someone, you're trying to lower that person's opinion of that person you're talking shit about.
Exactly.
And it's just fucked up to do that.
It
is. It's fucked up to do that. It's like
it is.
Period.
Well, it's funny. Like I'm not a fan of mean-spiritedness. Like I have a dark sense of humor, and I'm a big teaser, right? I really am a teaser. We know that.
Yes, you are.
But I don't like mean-spiritedness, and yet that is mean-spirited. You know.
Yeah.
You highlighted this because you want to jump there next?
Oh no, I'm just clicking around.
Because I was going to say this next one is really big for me. Kind of again this theme of my big jealousy thing, which is while sometimes jealousy propels me to this point of competition, I like competition. It also sometimes can stop us.
Yes.
A bitterness can stop us from doing anything. Well, I'm not going to fucking do that. I don't want to do that.
Well,
and kind of actually similar, the theme in this too is where my energy is going. So do I put my energy into resentment or do I put my energy into making something? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I'm
stopping
totally
me. Stop. So that when I left this person's event after the launch of their thing, that, and again, let's say, and again, there was actually much behind that. Now, even as I'm thinking about it, there was actually just history in our relationship that I was quite still jealous of, and it was multi-pronged. But let's just say, for argument's sake, that it was the thing that person made. Well, there's again a fork in the road. It's pickle. There's a fork in the road. There's either I can stew on that. Yeah. Or I can be like, well, do I want to make something like that?
Yeah.
And that's what I mean by the part of the really ugly part is jealousy stopping us from even moving forward because we feel so stagnant because we're bitter. I mean, does that happen to you at all or no?
Yeah. No, 100%. No. Well, now that you're talking about it, it's like, it just gets to a larger thing to it, just about like how dangerous negativity is. It's just like, and just how easy it is to get into it. It's just so easy. It's very simple to get into negativity. It's just like, this audition that we just did,
right. Well, it actually wasn't well written, but I was actually thinking about the person that we both know. And that was becoming, I was like, ugh, them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. No, and it's like, but just in general, just like negativity, just like, it's just amazing how I'm thinking I can't really talk about this one thing, but like there's an opportunity has been afforded me
This is
that
current. This episode's coming out in months, so it's current, right?
Yes, an opportunity has been afforded me that I'm like, I think I'm way above. Okay, I'm way above this opportunity. I'm like, whatever is fucking stupid. Why not? Why do that? It's to why not try and see the I know it's now it's more basic, but why not try and because negativity shuts down. Any sort of negativity can shut something down, just shut something down. And it's like, I'm not saying that like, because one thing that I think can feed a shame spiral, and I'll shut up about it, is like, if you do get jealous of that event, or if I get jealous of this thing, sometimes the impulse is to like, well, I'm just really going to do it. I'm going to do it the best. And sometimes that's not what needs to happen. Like, I do believe that sometimes, like, because that's a coping mechanism too, which is like, well, I have to put this into action. We know that that's like the ideal version, is I put it into action and I do something about it. And it's like, no, but sometimes you just need to just not feel negatively about it. There's not necessarily, just work through your resentment with it. And sometimes that's the action. Like, this opportunity I'm afforded now, I don't think I need to do more than what I'm doing. It's not like I need to, like, okay, now I'm going to go, because that's the other extreme. It's like, now I'm going to give 150% to really trying to do this thing that I actually don't care about that much. It's like, no, just don't be negative about it. Just be great. Just don't be negative about it. Just be cool about it. And like, don't let it feed into you. Like, the opposite of jealousy is not like positive action that we need to take all the time, because that leads into a problem again of like, just like flipping, just like coping, flipping around,
fake. Yeah.
It feels fake. Like, I don't want to go, like, again, it's like, well, I really, like, it's like, if I see somebody's, a series regular on, I have no desire to be on Blue Bloods. It's not like, and I get jealous, so it's not like you'd be like, well, I need to really, I'm going to be that person. I'm going to like really try and like, rise to that level. It's like, well, no, it's like, you don't really care about it. Just like, stop, just like, let it go. Just let it go. And I don't know.
Well, this final point about the ugly part of jealousy is one, and I just think this is embarrassing. And I'm naming it, and I'm realizing that this is exactly what I do with that person. You pretend that it's like it's a creative opinion. Oh, well, they're not very good. Oh, well, they're not trained. Oh, well, they don't have that. What? What are you doing? What are you doing? You're just jealous. You are masking the jealousy through a creative opinion, creative judgment. Well, they only got that. You'll never forget a random example of this. When Brian and I, and but it somehow came up with Brian in particular, when we were running No Rules, when it came up, somehow there was a rumor going around that I was a trust fund baby. LOL.
All right.
But I say this because there were people chalking our success up to money, as though I had lots of it.
Yeah.
And I'm saying it. That's kind of beyond the compare of.
Well, I'm thinking about the example. No. It makes sense. Is that no. Where I go with this too is like, I posted something on Instagram recently where, I was kind of bemoaning something about, just how I don't think there's many interesting actors anymore and blah, 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 blah. And I got a lot of people messaging me who were like, oh, like, I'm so in agreement with this and like, whatever. And Jamie, it's funny that you brought up Jamie Smithson, because he goes, I completely agree. And I was like, you're one of the good ones, Jamie. And I texted him that. And it's like, because let me think about it this way. Like, if Jamie booked something huge, like, you know, I don't know, something huge that I was up for, I don't know if I would be jealous. I don't know, because like, I don't know if I would be jealous, because it's like, I think, like,
Okay, but let me can I
if
tell you
somebody,
one,
yeah, please.
just because I feel similarly about this person. One of the things, and every time Jamie and I have any conversation ever, it's basically he and I going, "Oh, you'd be so good. Oh man, I'd love to see you do that. Oh my god."
Exactly. Yeah. Same thing. Yeah.
And he didn't say that to you. And I no, but I, it's actually, there's like it's him. Like, I actually think the common denominator in what we're talking about is someone who and even if, like, when Jamie probably has said to me, like, "Oh man, I was so jealous, but like I was so jealous because I just knew you'd kill it." And like, he's like very honest. He's like a very loving, positive person.
Yeah. But so I say this with the creative judgment piece, because I think about the people I pass creative judgment on. And is that a jealousy thing, or is that actually, I think it stems from a jealousy. I think maybe it stemmed from jealousy when I see sort of like, sorry, the same kind of actors booking the same kind of roles. I don't find them very interesting. I don't think they're really taking risks. I don't think they're dangerous. I don't think they're anything. And did that stem from absolutely? I think I spent a lot of time being jealous about that. And has that informed my creative taste? Because now I don't really care for actors like that. Like, I'm not really into actors like that. You know, let's just say that. And it's like, so that's a big creative judgment I'm making. You know, I don't know. I don't know what came first. I don't know if it was the creative opinion is informed by the jealousy, or if the creative whatever. I don't know if what I'm saying is making sense, but it's like,
well, again, I would argue, I don't know the exact scenarios and all, but for me, it comes back to the comparison piece, and maybe, again, for me, going, well, if I didn't get such and such, do I have to deal with the truth that my sense of that, which is not as good as, because we do have opinions about people's art, and that's okay. So if I go, well, I don't love that, but that quote unquote won out, am I somehow less than? So I have to dig in my heels about the less than-ness of that creative work to almost, maybe, I'm just working this thought out now, spread the incredulity of, aren't you as shocked as I?
Right. No, that's well, because I mean, I'm just going to be really basic here and just be like, like, again, there's not many like working consistently in mainstream, whether it be mainstream theater or film, television. There's not a ton of truly dynamic. I mean, like, I think some of the old timers, or like people who came up in the movie celebrity age, are still like this, because it was just a different model. But like, there's not many like dynamic, like, whoa, like that guy's work is like exciting and interesting and unique and like, everybody's kind of blending in together, in my opinion. There's a lot of homogeny all around. Like, all around, there's a lot of homogeny. And that's my opinion. I don't know if people agree with that, but that's my opinion. And so it's like, you're right. It's like this sort of, and so like, yeah, there's a sense of, God, I'm never going to be that. That's not who I want to be. When I try to play that game, it does not work. It's not, I can't play that game better than those people at that style or at that sense or ethos or whatever, nor do I really want to play that game. And so, it's like, to benefit myself, I have to spread the incredulity of like, isn't this whole thing fucked up? Like, isn't this all messed up? It's like, don't you guys see?
It will also, aren't maybe getting other people to say that too, so that you don't feel
it's
crazy.
validating. Well, it's just validating because you're
Uh-huh.
like, yeah. It's like, yeah, no, yeah.
So then the question becomes, and I was musing on this, and and you might disagree with some of this. I don't think you've seen this yet, but what do we do with jealousy? I was actually proud of myself because step one is something that I did 2 days ago, believe it or not. So I do think step one is simply owning it. I'm not trying to therapize our listeners, but this is just my musings, our musings. But name it. So for example,
Yeah.
I was up for liked it a lot. I liked it a lot that it was actually painful to watch because I really wanted to be in it.
Right.
And Michael really wants to see the live capture. And he's like, let's go. I want to go. And I was like, and I said, I was like, to be 100% with you, I'm just a bit jealous still. And it's a bit painful to watch it just because I really liked it and I really wanted to be in it. And I'm owning that, Mike, because I'm not saying it's terribly helpful, but I was proud of myself for not going,
No.
well, I didn't really like it, because that's not the truth. I actually liked it a lot. And it's just kind of painful.
Well, because
and I wanted
you knew
to be
going
in it.
into that, like avoiding those. I think what's helpful about what you're saying is avoiding, recognize. It's like setting boundaries. I really respect that when people do that. It's. I also get jealous of that too. When people are like, what, I can't engage with that. I can't engage with that because of what it's going to do to me.
Exactly.
I can't engage with that. It's like, and yeah, it's. Yeah, I'm thinking about this experience that I'm currently going through where there is jealousy. There is a lot of jealousy now that I think about it. And it's like...
Is the jealousy, just because I know what it is it jealousy based on the other person? Or is it jealousy based on the situation?
What it is? Say what,
yes, I do.
It's yeah. So it's jealousy. No, it's not jealousy of the other person at all.
We know each other too well.
Yeah, it's not jealousy of the other person. It's jealousy that this
is the circumstance.
And that this has been so validated.
What do you mean?
When I think it's like when I think it's one of the safest things. This has been so validated by the community.
Sure.
And and so I'm actively very negative in it. Do
you think people sense that?
They must.
Well, let me ask you a question because I also know you will. Sometimes, and I could be wrong, but it's almost like, and I'm saying universally you, but I'm actually just saying this to you because I think I do this too. It's almost like you want people to know.
Yes. Oh yeah, I'm 100% doing that. I'm 100% doing that. I'm letting people know that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm 100% letting people know. And look, it's like, it's just like I'm just in this moment. I'm realizing I should own it. Yeah, I just need to own it, and like, that's okay. And you don't have to be. And that's the thing, right? It's like, what's the alternative? The alternative. Because then you have the other extreme. I'm thinking of a lot of bleeping today. I'm thinking something like it's like would take the extreme of like overly effusively complimenting and really
full of microaggressions.
Full of microaggressions, but so obviously extremely pained. Doing the opposite, pained, and that happens a lot. And that's not what I need to be doing. I don't need to go in there and be overly effusive.
Well, this is why I'm saying. This is why I'm saying Jamie going. I can't even Jamie. If you listen to this, I can't even remember a specific example. But Jamie going. I'm jealous about that. But like being like, okay, I don't mind saying it because by the time I don't know when this is coming out. We were both up for this play that you're about to do, Ivanov, with these great guys in New American Ensemble. And Mike got it, and I was genuinely very happy Mike got it. In fact, when I was talking to Michael, my sweet Michael, I was like, no, I'm happy Mike got it. It doesn't mean that I can't be jealous of the experience.
Yes, right. That's how I would have felt. Yeah.
You know, like where it's like, oh, I'm jealous of that experience, but I'm not jealous in a way that makes me wish you ill will. I poisoned the yogurt. Those like pebbles were like rat poison.
Pebbles.
You're like, no, there's texture in here.
But like,
crumble.
But also
cyanide.
maybe it's about avoiding. but you know, another thing I think is useful about it is to like, if you're acknowledging you're in a spiral around something, like avoiding it, like, you know, avoiding it. I don't know. There's something about that, like avoiding putting myself in the situation. Because I know for me is like, you know, the equivalent is, let's just use the equivalent of social media. I know if every time I go on social media, I get jealous. Or I go and, you know, it's actually, yeah. Or I go to, I'm stalking somebody from the burner account who I'm jealous of. Okay, whatever. You know, looking at their stories, da-da-da-da. The best thing I can do, it's funny because this whole conversation we realized, like, yeah, I'm still dealing with a lot of jealousy with a lot of things, I guess. But like, I thought, you know, but it's like, the best thing I can do is own it, because that's what's scary about owning it is that it feels like a regression.
It's vulnerable. Exactly.
Well, and it feels like a regression because you're like,
fair.
This shouldn't be getting to me. I should be over this. I should be. And saying like I'm jealous, it's like an admittance of like a fall to defeat or something like that. And it's like, as opposed to being like, I'm jealous of this, and so maybe I need to avoid until I get right with this thing.
Right.
Until I get right with this thing, I need to you know,
don't need to trigger yourself.
I don't need to trigger myself.
Because of all the things we're naming as the outcomes. Because to your point about owning it, once you name it, then I would argue the next step is to sort of try to figure out what's at the root of it all. What is, because it is going to be different person to person. So is it stemming from an insecurity that, per your point about I need to just not touch it? If there's an insecurity we have about my teeth or my emotional availability, or I don't know, it doesn't matter. You know, once I name that, then maybe I can deal with that. Is it something that you really want? Listen.
Yeah, because that's how passive. Yeah.
I subsequently, you know, like we've had conversations. I'm becoming a little more judicious with the things that I'm auditioning for, because I'm finding myself less. This is where jealousy is interesting, because that same person, by the way, you know what he just directed, right?
Oh, really?
Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, the person.
So I'm gonna say it. He who I keep talking about directed, which is the show that I premiered.
Really?
And Mike, I pitched myself to direct it, and at the end I said, but for all I know, insert name here, already pitched himself. And he goes, he did, and he's directing it. But here's my point.
Wow, that's fucked.
I know. I was like, from a direction standpoint, that's when you go, oh, that's kind of where I'm more hungry with. That's more than
sure.
And so again, so you own the jealousy, then you can identify what the root cause of it, and then I would argue, what's the plan of action?
Yeah.
So even if you're someone, because I just want to speak to the stagnancy thing, if you get stuck a little bit, what's the one small thing you can do? What's the one small step you could take? Or to your point about going to see somebody and seeing someone up there and being jealous of that experience, how could you create something that could align with that feeling, even momentarily? For example, Mike, one day I shouldn't even say the full title because it's going to be a huge hit. I'm going to star in a script of Mike's, BC. I'm going to star in this movie. And even doing a reading of that, I'm making this up because it's a good script with me as the star. That could do it. I'm serious. Like that could align with that feeling. Or are there really specific pieces that you sort of need to visit?
Well, that's the worst kind of jealousy is the kind where it feeds, like we're talking about this narrative jealousy, is where it's like that example you gave. It's like, well, see again, here we go again. It's another example. This thing is haunting me. This person's haunting me.
Yes.
It's like this person's like always here to fuck my life up. And it's like, or it's like for me, it's like just another example of how the New York theater community has got its head up its ass. And it's like, it's like, it's just like,
yeah.
And so when you're stuck, what's so hard is when you're stuck in a loop like that, where everything is further evidence. Yeah, like I guess the counter to that is to, actively find examples that are the opposite, I guess, or see, but like, who's really going to do that? It's like, I don't know. It's like, it's so hard to go, well, this is happening, to find the counter evidence. That's an example, right, of something you can do. But I'm thinking about the situation now where it's like everything I experienced with the process, see, further proof, further proof, further proof, further proof. It's like, I guess how I could break out of that is by, I don't know, actively doing something positive, for your point. And maybe it is just like, whether it's creation, whether it's, what if you were to email this? I don't know. What if you were to email this person?
Yes.
What if you were just to email this person and just congratulate them? I don't know. Like, do you do it for, again, I don't want to go into...
Congratulations on navigating this industry with no talent. I'm just kidding.
But it's like,
I know what you mean.
Like the example that we used, it's like, how do you avoid inauthenticity? Because at the same time, like,
right.
You're doing that for you. You're not doing that for him.
Well,
it's like,
let's
how
to be clear, there are things. There are. Oh yeah, because by the way, the same person. Sorry, I want to tell you one more thing about this person. You got to bleep. You have to bleep these examples out. He starred as in the production, and he's never done Shakespeare before. I was up for that. It was moments before, and you sort of you're going like,
and
what
so what
am I
do you
missing?
do? And so what do you do though to break out? Because now you're in a jealousy spiral.
This episode. I just become like more of a jealous spiral throughout this whole episode.
Yeah, it's like
I kill myself.
Would something
unalive?
I feel like doing something positive maybe for this person. I don't know.
No,
I don't know. Like maybe doing something positive for this person, even if it's anonymous. I don't even fucking know. But it's like, doing something like, I'm so stupid, but it's just, I'm thinking about like, if they have a project, like just donate money. It's like anonymously. I don't know, like do something to break out of the cycle. Do something actively positive towards that experience.
This was absolutely another one I had here, which was, and I think you're so right, which is to celebrate other artists. And if it might feel, to your point, counterintuitive, but I think that's actually a really interesting point. Because if rather than continuing to spin out, as I'm literally in real time doing, about all of their successes, if I were to even publicly celebrate them more, not in a way, to your point, but really putting into action what I would like to be able to.
Yeah, I even wonder if I think there might even be more value. If it's truly for a jealousy spiral, I even wonder if there's more value in doing something just anonymously. I
know what you're saying.
Wonder that.
So that it's not about, because it could, because
part of what the public thing is too. It's like, see, I'm not upset by this. And you're expecting some sort of reward for it because it's like, see, I'm putting myself, it's like, I wonder if you've been doing something anonymously.
No, I think that's a good point. I think that's a very good point.
It's just a way to sort of heal your relationship with that thing. It's like, I don't know.
Came out of the room once singing a song. He goes, I sing that song. That's in my audition book.
Really?
He goes, mine's just a little higher. I do it up a step.
So see, it's like, and it's like somebody like that. And that's the thing, right? Is sometimes like if you're jealous of like a piece of shit person, right? Like if you're jealous of somebody who's like a genuine piece of shit, which is a lot of sometimes the people you get jealous of, people do generally suck. We're finding success, like that's a different sort of navigation. It's like, but still, it's the same.
No, but I actually think your point, and I think the non-public point is a good point. It's like not because it's not just about perception. It's about
but healing your relationship.
Exactly. By the way, even if that I think this is the point you're making. Even if that's healing with a relationship with myself, it's not about this person. It is about who I want to be in this world.
Right.
And because per the points of what I think is good, I think also, just to be clear, it's not like I think my judgment is clouded because clearly there's a lot of merit here. And so it would be unwise for me to continue as though everybody else is no. In fact, if I were to just take a step back and start to even look at that and acknowledge that privately or otherwise, because so I need to we're at the tail end, but I just want to say this, Mike. I didn't go see it, and you know what relationship that hurt, of course.
Yeah, of course.
So now I'm letting this person overshadow so much, and then I had to write a long note about how bad I felt to this person who always says, well, you always show up, and then I didn't show up. And so it's like I lose at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless I can deal with this.
Exactly. That's a really good way to put it. I think that's a good note to end on.
There's two other points I just want to say. One, because we're talking about what you can do with jealousy, how you can deal with it. One, I do think is setting boundaries with specifically social media. I do think social media, to your point, whether I happily will mute people, unfollow, block if I need to, but I will happily mute people. If I'm feeling triggered by that, live your life, because it's kind of a necessary evil, as we know. And so, I think setting those boundaries is important.
Yeah.
But I think this is probably the reason I just want to end on this final thought of essentially expressing gratitude. We do have a lot of things, and even if every morning we name one thing that we're grateful for, I really believe that this could chip away at any of that sense of jealousy.
Yeah.
Because just take the thing that you're working with now. Heck, I'm jealous of that.
Yeah.
If for no other reason, the practicals.
Yeah, right.
I know you don't go to the doctor, but some of us do. No, but I'm serious. Like that's like there's value. And
yeah,
and
no,
and
it's totally a fair. It's absolutely a fair point. It's hard, and even like that opportunity that you're speaking about too. There's some. This gets to resentment too, anger. It's when you're stuck in resentment. The other problem is that you can't see the positives people are doing for you. Like
sure,
because yeah, you just can't see the positive. It's like, well, there's always a caveat. Like if this person, for all we know, this person has actually done, maybe this person has done something nice for you. I don't know that you keep talking about. I mean, I don't know. But it's like, would you be able to see it? Would you be able to actually see it or take it in if this person ever did a kind act towards you or did something nice for you? Or would you ever be able to see it? But no, because you're already like sort of in this spiral with this person.
Well, do you remember, kind of jumping back to your situation, that person when they offered me that thing and I was offended?
Yes.
And you were like, well, it's actually their way of maybe trying to begin to include you. But my story was greater than that. My story was more about. I don't know if it was. I guess there probably was jealousy, but I wasn't jealous as much as my ego was dinged. But it's kind of part of the same emotion.
Yeah, sometimes it's resentment. It's kind of like resentment. Kind of is the heart of all of this. It's like resentment is sort of like the biggest problem at the end of the day. It's just like it's yeah.
Well, anyway, folks, listen, we don't do comfort food performances anymore. We don't do cooking tips. We don't do anything. We just work out at the gym for 2.5 hours. That's all we do.
Okay. We're not doing this anymore?
Well, we didn't do it last time.
Oh. Okay.
I'm ready.
Fuck
I've got
all
him.
of you.
I've got him.
We'll think about. No, I think it's time to end it. It was fun while it lasted.
My one cooking tip is your hands are your best tool. An example, if you're separating an egg yolk from an egg white, you think you want to dip it back and forth between the egg. Don't do that. Pour it into a bowl, use your hand, pull out the yolk. It'll actually be so simple, very easy. Your hands are your best tool.
Goodbye.